Elon Musk is a very powerful individual on a worldwide scale. This is why he is known and respected by many government officials. For instance, Saudi Arabia is now working with Elon Musk on a space mission to send the first Arab woman into space sometime next year. On September 22nd, the government declared that it had begun an astronaut training program and hoped to send 2 of its people into space as early as 2023. Axiom Space, based in Houston, Texas, is organizing this project. But why is Elon Musk a key figure in this story? How does it affect Elon and his companies? Keep watching. And before we start the video, be sure to support, like, and subscribe to the channel. Here's a quick rundown of how it all started. Saudi Arabia recently made a new record by becoming the latest Gulf government to develop relations with a private U.S. space enterprise. Saudi Arabia would also be the first nation to send a private spacecraft into orbit. They sealed off plans to fly 2 astronauts aboard a SpaceX space capsule to the International Space Station. Although it appears the arrangement was negotiated secretly earlier this year with Houston's Axiom Space, which organizes and handles private journeys to space aboard U.S. spacecraft for researchers and tourists. Space belongs to all of humanity. This is one of the reasons Axiom Space is excited about its new relationship with the Saudi Space Commission to educate Saudi astronauts, including the country's first female astronaut, said Axiom Space President and CEO Michael Safradini. 2 Saudi astronauts will fly SpaceX's Crew Dragon spaceship to the space station for an approximately week-long trip early next year, as the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the United States space agency that is now focusing heavily on returning humans to the moon, looks to commercialize the United States' decades-old human spaceflight presence in low Earth orbit. Private American companies have increasingly played a key role in sending astronauts to the space station. The agreement would be the latest to place corporations like Axiom in a unique position of diplomacy that has long been controlled by government institutions like NASA. The International Space Station is a football field-sized laboratory 250 miles, 400 kilometers above Earth that has hosted multinational astronaut teams for over 20 years. The Saudi astronauts would join 2 already announced Americans, former NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson and racing car driver and financier John Schaffner. The mission, dubbed Ax-2, will be Axiom's second spaceflight. According to a U.S. official, a NASA-chaired panel comprising the space station's participating partners and nations, including Russia, Canada, Japan, and the European Space Agency, has yet to authorize the commercial astronauts on board Ax-2. Officials claim that the mission is likely to be approved. Deals with foreign governments are critical for Axiom and other space corporations to continue a company based on sending humans into space. Putting humans into space is a luxury for affluent adventurers and a source of national pride and inspiration for aspiring space powers such as Saudi Arabia. In April, Axiom launched its first private voyage to the space station, sending a 4-person crew on a SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft, including a Canadian investor and an Israeli businessman. What's more significant about Saudi Arabia's journey to the International Space Station is the presence of the world's first female Arab astronaut. Women's rights have historically been limited in Saudi Arabia. For example, women were prohibited from driving automobiles until 2018. It is genuinely record-breaking for them that women are now permitted to go into space and operate spaceships. In all, the identity of this female astronaut is yet to be revealed by Axiom or the Saudi government. The significance of Axiom's Saudi arrangement remained unclear, but we believe it is for the betterment of mankind. Each Crew Dragon seat on Axiom's first trip costs $55 million. On the other hand, Musk is aiming for a new milestone after recently smashing his record for yearly launches. In a recent tweet, the mega-billionaire said that his aerospace business will strive for 100 orbital launches next year, making it the world's first to accomplish so. Musk made this announcement on Twitter after SpaceX launched its Falcon 9 rocket carrying 46 Starlink satellites on August 31st in the company's 39th flight. Musk responded to claims that SpaceX aims for 100 flights in 2023 by tweeting, "Yeah, planning for up to 100 flights next year." Musk claims that SpaceX surpassed the record for most launches in a year and is currently executing orbital launches about every 5 days. At this pace, the business might complete 60 launches this year, an aim Musk outlined in March. He even said up to 4,200 additional Starlink satellites would be launched into orbit during the following 18 months. The Starlink constellation now consists of over 2,800 operational satellites that provide low latency and high-speed internet in over 30 nations. Although most of SpaceX's Falcon 9 launches have been for Starlink, the business has also conducted critical missions such as Crew 4 on April 27th and South Korea's maiden moon mission on August 5th. SpaceX has big ambitions for 2022, including the first orbital launch of their massive rocket Starship and crew mission Crew 5 for NASA. The Starship is being tested at the Starbase facility in Texas in preparation for its voyage around the Earth. Musk has said that besides deploying Tesla's fully self-driving capability, sending Starship into space is his primary priority this year. SpaceX has significant work in the satellite internet industry since it was just accepted by Royal Caribbean on its fleet. Royal Caribbean International said it will begin installing Starlink internet aboard its Royal Caribbean International, Celebrity Cruises, and Silver Sea Cruises ships. The work is expected to be completed by the end of next year. So, as you can see, Elon Musk and his mega companies are everywhere now. Axiom also announced a partnership with Turkey to send the country's first 2 people into space in late 2023. According to a source acquainted with the trip, this will most likely be for mission Ax-3. Axiom's aspirations include more than just sending humans to the International Space Station. Despite announcements that the ISS would be retiring in 2031, Axiom Space has plans for several projects on board the International Space Station. After Axiom 1 and Axiom 2, the first hopes to connect its modules to the ISS with significant docking in 2024. The Aphorism Station will be divided into 4 areas to expand the ISS's commitment to research. Aphorism is now working on this extension with the support of Thales Alenia Space, which is preparing the basic designs of the main module. The final collection is scheduled to be completed in Texas, USA in 2023 and sent out in late 2024. Aphorism will continue to send connections up to join this lab over the next several years until withdrawing entirely from the ISS. This will allow the Axiom Station to operate independently of the ISS in 2031. There are also plans to expand the testing area to the Space Entertainment Enterprise, which is working on a Tom Cruise film that will be shot in space. C1 would hold a film and television studio and other distracting real-time features. If the project is successful, it will be the first film shot in space. C has tasked Axiom with creating it, which will be included in the rapidly evolving plans Axiom is presenting. Axiom is also working on spacesuits for NASA's Artemis 3 mission, which seeks to land people on the moon's south pole in 2025 or 2026. NASA, in turn, confirmed that it has granted a $228.5 million contract to Axiom Space to develop a moonwalking system for the agency's return voyage to the lunar surface. Now back to Saudi Arabia. It is important to note that this will not be their first space trip. Saudi Arabia once sent an astronaut into orbit. He was Prince Sultan bin Salman Al Saud, and he rode aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery during the STS-51G mission in 1985. He made history by being the first Arab, the first Muslim, and the first member of a royal family to leave Earth's orbit on the Discovery space shuttle. Back then, he was part of a team of 5 Americans and 1 Frenchman that launched 3 satellites into orbit, including the Arabsat-1B, for which he was a payload specialist. In an extensive interview, Prince Sultan explored the future of Saudi spaceflight, reminisced on his life-changing journey into space, and expressed respect for the next generation of Arab astronauts. As you can see, now Elon Musk is doing a favor to different powerful countries like Saudi Arabia by sending their astronauts to space. And until space tourism will become a very common thing, Elon Musk and his company will decide much in this space game. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.